we're here with our Keeper of Archaeology, Dave Allen, and today he's going to tell us all about this very interesting head.
Yes, Stacey, I mean this is our best example of a Romano-Celtic stone head. They're not very common in the south of England, south of Britain, because we don't have that much suitable stone, but they are reasonably common in the north and west. So this one is actually made of Bembridge limestone, which outcrops only on the Isle of Wight and one place in Dorset. And to tell you the story of the discovery, as far as we know it, to start with, then it turned up at Boulder in the New Forest, so not very far from the source of this stone, the outcrops on the Isle of Wight. But the nature of its discovery was a bit strange in that a young boy who was staying down at Portmore near Boulder found it in a quarry, so the story goes. He also found an old pram in the quarry and pushed it back into the village and took it to the place where he was staying, and they set it up as a garden ornament. So we don't really know, that much about its archaeological origins, but it does seem to be, right in that it's the right stone in the sort of right place, really. So if we take it as an archaeological find from that area, then, as I say, we have a Romano-Celtic stoned head, a horned head. You see the horns here, and the horned head variety is one of the key elements of this cult of the head, which was very widespread, really, across the sort of Iron Age and early Roman world. And we think that probably in the Iron Age they were carving heads like this in wood, because they haven't survived. But under the Roman influence, so after the Roman invasion of 43 AD, they start to turn them out in stone, and that's when they obviously can survive, because they're made of the right material to do so. So we would date this one to right at the end of the 1st century BC, or more likely those first 2 centuries AD, when the Romans were actually governing Britain.
So, would it have been an entire body, or do they normally just come as heads?
Normally they just come as heads, and the particular thing about this one is that you've got the face here, there's the nose and the eyes, a bit of damage here, but there'd be a mouth and a moustache, and then there's this great block behind here, so the back has not been sculpted, so it would be made to be set up in a building, probably, a small shrine or something like that, and actually probably fixed into that location through this great sort of plug of stone at the back here. So it was just the head that was peering out at you. And the purpose of the heads, we think, is there's a great word, apotropaic.
Ooh.
It's to ward off the evil spirits. So that is meant to frighten you. And in particular, the thing about the horned head, they think, is very martial, very warlike. If you think of animals with horns, like bulls, stags, and so on, what do they use them for? There's the threat there of them as a weapon, and that we think is, the reason this is a horned head. There would be the bulging eyes, and probably quite a sort of malevolent look to the face as well. And so you would realise that if you weren't actually part of the tribe, the Iron Age tribe who'd created this, then you were, stepping into someone else's territory.
Bad idea.
And I mention that because we do have a boundary between Iron Age tribes somewhere in that sort of New Forest area. In the Hampshire Basin we had the Atrebates and the Belgae, Winchester is Venta Belgarum, so the Belgae and the Atrabates. And then going west into Dorset, you've got the Durotriges. So we think that this possibly was along the line of that division between the tribe in the Hampshire Basin and those further west. And it's an interesting division. It turned out to be, because when the Romans arrived, they seem to have had pretty easy passage through Hampshire. They were welcomed in, and then they had to start fighting a lot more battles as they went west. And so, the Durotriges and the Atrabates might well have not got on, not been the friendliest of neighbours. So something like this on the along the boundary line, set up in a New Forest area, might well be the reason for it being there.